play, and he is picked up, I believe, another first down.
And a beautifully designed play by that man, Bruce Glover, and his offensive coaches, sending the receivers deep, clearing out the zone. Jim Couch, the running back, coming underneath, and he was wide open. Carlson gets him the ball, nobody even near him at that point. And a good one-on-one tackle right there by Tim Gleason for Palatine.
First and 10 from the 28, but there are flags thrown. And a false start against the offense. Boy, that...
I'll tell you, all of Jeff Heklinski's receivers are playing on the defensive side. Saunders, Bechtold, Lloyd Brown, and Evan Whitehead. So really all four of his receivers play on defense, so they may be getting tired a little bit. And on the other hand, Heklinski sitting on the sidelines on a cold night. Kind of tough for him to sit here and watch this long ball control drive right now.
First down and 15. That's Couts in motion, and Carlson wants to throw with protection, going deep, incomplete, and...
well, he was looking for Kenny Beck. He's the closest thing to a breakaway threat that Hersey's got. He threw it long. Beck stopped on the dime, was expecting the deep curl pattern, so a little miscommunication there, but they were going for the bomb there, surprising for Hersey. Normally, Hersey in past years has always had the explosive players, a lot of breakaway speed threats. This year's team, they really lack that. Kenny Beck probably the closest thing to it, and they were looking for him deep on that one. Good coverage by Palatine.
All right, second and 15, behind center, Steve Beal. Ball at the 33-yard line. Hersey trailing 7-0. Carlson. I want to set up a screen. Dangerous pass. That was intended for Messer. You can't float a screen pass up that high, and it was almost picked off by Dave Sobel, but it's incomplete.
Not very well executed. Almost looked like that Jim Harbaugh screen pass the Chicago Bears threw that turned into a touchdown. That could have been, that was a couple feet away of being a 6-point play for the defense.
We'll have our TCI of Illinois Player of the Game announcement coming up in the fourth quarter. Right now, 7:20 to go in the second. 7-0 Palatine here at Hersey. Third and 15. Couts the motion man. Botched handoff, and I believe Hersey recovered it. I think Carlson fell on it. And that'll bring up fourth down.
Looks like Mark Schuler, number 40, is coming out, so an apparent punt. I think we'll get another look at it. It looked like just a missed exchange. Looked like the snap came up to him, and Carlson just pulled out too quick. But credit him with his quickness, able to get on the ball. That was actually a heck of a play by Carlson to recover and get back on the ball.
And a bad snap. Schuler couldn't handle it, and he'll be tackled at his own 45-yard line. We'll have to get another look and see if the snap was off or whether he just mishandled it. But
that is Evan Whitehead, number 89, the fired-up defensive player, also an outstanding receiver. Crowd doesn't like it too much for the Huskies, but a big play by Whitehead, and they're really struggling on their punting game.
And, you know, I think the thinking with Bruce Glover, John, is that they wanted to give him bad field position for the first time tonight. And
exactly right. Tough break, not what Glover wanted. Look for Heklinski to start airing it out right now.
44-yard line, Hersey territory. They hand it off Williams. Williams bounces. Brad Summers, the 6'2 senior, in on the stop for Hersey.
We got penalty flags all over the field. You can see the Hersey players. Cliff Ryan doing his best referee impersonation.
Illegal
motion.
motion.
To be going against Palatine.
I was going to say, John, illegal motion against the offensive Palatine. That'll put it at the 49.
I'll tell you, the stands were empty about 20 minutes before game time. Everybody was in their cars because we look now, even on a cold night here, very good. Look at the penalty yardage so far against Palatine.
First and 15, Williams into the secondary. And he did a good job of breaking a couple of tackles. He was finally brought down by Nate Karasser, the safety, and a good play. They went play action, and they keep it on the ground.
Good straight-ahead blocking. We mentioned the Hersey offensive line. Palatine also with a very experienced veteran offensive line. Ryan Kretschmar, their outstanding senior center, probably the star of that line. Dave Gurian, another good blocker from his tackle position.
Gain of 10, another draw. Williams Williams still going. A nice tackle made by Bill Noss. Noss with the stop, but they will move the chains, and the Pirates boy, they've had excellent field position on all 3 of their drives tonight. And now they get it. Let's see, they'll spot it at the 28.
Good look at the quickness of J.D. Williams that time, and also the outstanding hole that was open. Again, fine blocking by the offensive line.
First and 10, Heklinski looking left, and that's complete. That's Sobel. Sobel with his first catch of the night. That was to about the 18-yard line, and he'll be close to another first down.
I'll tell you, with Heklinski passing as a receiver, you better get your hands ready, because even on the short passes, he really bullets the ball in there.
Well, the spot is at the 20. Spotted at the 20. Second and less than a yard. And there are flags here.
See if it's a too much time, possibly an illegal formation.
No, they lined up offside.
We've been seeing that call go against the defense a lot this season. That's the first time we've seen it called against the offensive line for lining up off scrimmage.
Well, in 1988, only half the people in America took the time to vote for the President of the United States. Why have so many people given up on the political process, and how will that affect our future? You can join host Jim Mitchell as TCI looks at the voter turnout with interviews with several dozen individuals ranging from congressmen to bartenders. The program voices some of the issues related to low voter turnout. You can check your cable guide for times and dates. It's TCI Reports the voter turnout right here on the TCI network.
Another run by Palatine that time. J.D. Williams brings up a 3rd and short situation.
This is 3rd and 3. Williams. He's got a first down. Boy, he is so quick, and you make a move to stop him, and he is very elusive running back.
Shifty is the word you might think of. Very quick, able to move to the side and keep his speed going. Very tough to bring down. I think we'll get a look again at J.D. Williams, who's really been the feature player for Palatine so far. Again, Lloyd Brown with a great block. A couple of missed tackles by the Husky defense. Can't do that with Williams, but he will make you miss because he's so quick.
First and 10 from the 16 for the Pirates. They lead it 7-0. That was Lloyd Brown, their other good back, and Brown, they've gotten a yard or 2.
Brown more of the power back, J.D. Williams more of the speed back. Good combination for Palatine, and here we are 3 minutes away from halftime, and so far the All-American quarterback Jeff Heklinski, really pretty conservative game plan so far.
All right, behind center, Ryan Kretschmer, 2nd and 9. They gave Brown a yard on that one.
Tight formation.
Heklinski rolling. And he is finally brought down by Cliff Ryan. The back he was supposed to hand it off to, I think, slipped, or Heklinski got his cleat caught, and that had to turn out into a running play for him.
Somehow or other, a broken play. Heklinski tried to get out of there. Mark Schuler, number 40, was the linebacker who got in, and there's the stumble by the running back, and that kind of trips up Heklinski. Now he looks for a receiver, now decides to tuck it. There's Schuler, who was in first. He missed the tackle. Cliff Ryan and number 91, Joe Bagau, in on the tackle.
And that, John, that was a great play by Heklinski to hold onto that football, because that easily could have been a fumble.
2 big plays left. Hersey can hold him to a field goal.
3rd and 8, Heklinski. And that was Todd Fisher.
And the Hersey defense, you can see how pumped up they are. Palatine players are too. Both teams pretty emotional right now, and it's a 4th down and 7. Don't see any kickers coming on the field. Looks like Palatine's going to go for it. You got to believe they're going to pass right here.
4th down and 7. And they
only
have
one receiver split right, so.
And Heklinski is out, and Todd Fisher, the backup, is in. Fisher He ran right into Mark Schuler. Mark Schuler stopped him, and I don't know if something happened to Heklinski, but they had Fisher in for 2 straight plays at the quarterback position, and the Hersey defense holds.
Boy, and for the second time in a row they've held, and they've really been put with their backs to the wall. 3 drives in a row by Palatine. They've only given up 7 points, so the Huskies got to be feeling pretty good right now. Again, bad field position, so in the battle of field position today, Palatine winning that, but only 7-0 on the scoreboard.
From their own 12-yard line, they're still in the game. They trail 7-0. They keep it on the ground. Messer. And Jim Messer with a good straight-ahead run. He was finally tackled by Adam Little.
You can see Jeff Heklinski on the sidelines trying to shake off an injury, possibly to his ankle, possibly to his knee, trying to run it out. Looks like he'll be okay. That would obviously be a major blow to Palatine's chances if Heklinski cannot play.
And I'm surprised they haven't used any of their timeouts yet. Both teams with 3 timeouts. That time they keep it on the ground to Ernie Costello. I'm referring to the Pirates, John, with 1:20 to go. They could have stopped the clock, and now the clock 48 seconds and ticking. Why aren't they using any timeouts here?
I completely agree with you. Pretty conservative thinking on the part of Palatine. Got Hersey backed up, about to force a punt deep in their own zone, and they do have all their timeouts left, not calling any. So,
yeah, unless it's because Heklinski is hurt and they want to get into the locker room, but with all 3 timeouts remaining, as Carlson keeps it on the ground here, I would have.
Might be the quickest first half we've seen all season.
That's true. I would have, with that field position, I would use all the timeouts in the world to try and get the ball back.
Well, the score may end up being 7-0 at halftime, but I think Hersey, even though they're down, has got to be feeling pretty good about it, considering the miserable field position they've been in. The defense has been able to come up with stops. The offense in their last drive showed they can move it. I think they'll go into halftime believing they can win this game.
4th down and 3. So Hersey's going to have to punt it away here.
They have struggled on 3 consecutive punts.
Schuler is in to do the punting here. And let's see, was there a timeout called?
But the Huskies probably called timeout just to make sure they can set up their punting game here. And Mark Schuler, number 40, has had a tough go of it so far.
Well, we'll see the Shamrocks of St. Patrick and the St. Viator Lions, an East Suburban Catholic League game. We'll get a good look at Matt Lannis, the outstanding running back for the St. Viator Lions, who in our opener had an outstanding game, and he's having a terrific year. Matt Lannis for St. Viator, John.
Well, we saw him play in the first game, and he is leading the area in rushing right now. Very exciting player to watch. St. Patrick, St. Viator, East Suburban Catholic Conference.
So Schuler will punt. Steve Ginnell is the snapper, and flags are thrown.
I'll tell you, the first half zipped right by. It's as fast as any half we've had, but these last 30 seconds are taking a lifetime here. All kinds of confusion. You see the indication for the motion offsides penalty against Hersey, and that's going to make Mark Schuler's job even that much tougher. We'll see if Palatine sends everybody after it. And I think you're right. I think the reason they did not call the timeouts is because Heklinski injured. I think if they knew he was healthy and ready to go, they would have called time and see if they could have got one last drive.
Well, they, still could have kept it on the ground too, because if, assuming the snap is okay, they should get real good field position, and they're not going to have much time to do anything with it.
Bruce Glover having a friendly conversation with the referees.
So he'll talk to his punting unit. Well, Steve Ginnell will be the snapper here, and it's important for him to get a good snap off.
And join host Susan Anderson along with a panel of doctors from Northwest Community Hospital as they discuss breast cancer. Learn about the importance of early detection as well as exciting new treatments to ward off this deadly disease. That's Physicians Corner, Thursdays at 6:30, Sundays at 3 o'clock here on the TCI Network.
Well, a very important punt coming up here by Mark Schuler. He had a real good week punting last week, 4 punts for a 40-yard average.
If you're Palatine right now, you're sending everybody. Really, a roughing the kicker penalty doesn't even hurt that much. You give Palatine the ball, there's not enough time for them to do anything, so they should send everybody.
Kind of a low snap, and Schuler with a pretty good kick. And this takes a Husky roll. It goes out of bounds at the 46-yard line of Palatine with 13 seconds left on the clock.
Let's get a look and see if we see Heklinski coming back in the game.
Well, he is in.
It looks like number 16 is ready, and they are set for their 2-minute drill minus 1 minute and 47 of those seconds. They got 13 left.
And he has his right ankle. Maybe at sometime we can get a shot of his right ankle is heavily taped, John, so his ankle is definitely bothering him. Yeah, I don't know how much of a problem it's going to be as far as his mobility goes, but his right ankle is taped.
I think he hurt it on that bad exchange broken play that we saw. Good work by the athletic trainers at Palatine, getting Heklinski back in the game, and I'm sure at halftime they'll be putting ice on it.
Well, 13 seconds are lining up in the shotgun. Well, that I think the only reason, John, why they would not use their timeout is that whether Heklinski would have come back in or not.
Either way, pretty conservative thinking. I'm sure Hersey was glad to see him not using their timeout.
Yeah, I agree with you. They hand it off. Williams, Cliff Ryan read that all the way. This will go as a loss of yardage.
Yeah, they try a running play, and then they call timeout. Not really sure of the Palatine strategy here. Looks like they're kind of confused whether they really want to go for it or just run the clock out. Either way, the timeout, though, in these last 30 seconds are taking as long as the first, almost the entire first half took. Look at the Hersey defensive coordinator.
And I'll tell you, John, 3 seconds, they better be prepared for either squadron left or squadron right here, because Heklinski's got the arm to air it out. You can see Pirates tied a Mid-Suburban League South scoring record with 63 points against Prospect.
They scored most of those in the third quarter, too, or by the third quarter. When their first string players were in, Heklinski having a banner game that day, over 1,000 yards passing already on the season. What is completion percentage? I think 71%. So we really haven't seen it tonight, but he is a great quarterback with some very talented receivers.
They'll line up in the shotgun with 8 seconds left on the clock.
He's got
lots of time. And now they flush him out, and he gets out near midfield. That'll end the second quarter of play. So a good coverage play by Hersey, and they stay in the football game here at halftime. It is the Pirates leading it by the score of 7-0 in our TCI of Illinois Game of the Week. We'll be back. All right, we are back at Hersey High School. Bert Verona and John Cohn at halftime. The Pirates, 7-0, still a football game here. Kind of had the feeling that perhaps the Pirates and their offense were capable of a blowout here this evening, but it has been a pretty close football game. And you can see the halftime statistics, the Pirates with about twice as many yards as the Huskies, but the Hersey defense, John, has played pretty well tonight, I think, only allowing Palatine, a team that averages about 450 yards a game, to 115 for the half. That's good.
Well, part of that, I think, is Palatine holding their own selves down a little bit. Very conservative play calling, really didn't air the ball out too much. Their offense was on the field for a long period of time. Field position strongly in the favor of Palatine. Really everything except penalties in their favor, but the score only 7-0. So psychologically, maybe the advantage to Hersey. Here's a look at Jeff Heklinski, kept under wraps in the first half. Heklinski still looks like Very limping, very
Gingerly
gently on that. Gingerly, that's the word I'm looking for, on that right ankle. And there's the very un-Hecklinski-like stats. 4 for 7, 48 yards. He did connect for the 1 touchdown pass to Saunders, but that was basically just an 8-9 yard pass. Saunders ran it in the rest of the way. And I'll look at the rather cold crowd tonight. Palatine, interestingly, keeping their players out on the field at halftime. They met in the corner of the end zone on a cold October evening here. They did not go in. And there's a look really at the guy who got the most action in the first half. It was the J.D. Williams show. 11 attempts, 62 yards, pretty solid performance, but overall the Hersey defense able to contain him. I think he averages 7 on the season, so 5.6 for the game, not too bad.
And there's Carlson, Eric Carlson, the junior quarterback. And I think it was his ability, John, particularly in the second quarter. Even though Hersey didn't score, they started a drive on their own 13-yard line, only 1 of 3 at 9 yards. But what I was alluding to, they started a drive on their own 13-yard line, and because of the way he ran the option, they were able to get it out of midfield. And I think psychologically that gave them some breathing room. So even though they didn't score any points out of that, I think that helped the offense, the way he ran the option.
They might have to do better than 1 for 3. There's Jim Couts, who along with Jim Messer did most of the running. Couts also caught a couple of passes, so he's been an effective offensive target. Very strange first half. It went by real quick. Didn't have a lot of flow to it. Not quite the game we were expecting. I expected to see a lot more offensive fireworks. Kind of a weird first half.
7-0. We'll be back. All right, welcome back to Hersey High School. Bert Groner and John Cohn. The average scoring this year, you can see why Palatine at 4-1, 41 points a game they're averaging. They're only allowing a little better than a touchdown and an extra point. Hersey, pretty good numbers defensively. They need to score more than 13.5 points to win football games.
Well, the big struggle so far this season for the Hersey offense really is the lack of a passing game. We mentioned before, not a lot of real breakaway speed threats, which they've been so famous for in the last 6-7 years. A lot of great backs and receivers with good speed. Not so much this year. Their offense has struggled as a result. How about those Palatine numbers, though? 41-7 average. Can't tell it from the first half of this game. You see Hersey does struggle a little bit in the second half. I really think this first series, or the first couple series of the third quarter, are going to be the telling tale. If Hersey can stay close, it will be to their advantage.
Brad Summers will kick off here, the Pirates, to get the football to start the third quarter. And Summers with a squibber. Williams gets it at the 10. And pretty good run across the 20 to the 25. He was thinking about angling it out, but he kept it toward that side of the field. And the Pirates, this is the deepest they've started tonight, John, at their own 25-yard line.
I'll tell you, when you're going to tackle J.D. Williams, you better come after him with more than one guy. Very shifty running back with some outstanding moves, and his legs are always moving. So a big series right off the bat. The Palatine offense needs to exert itself. One of the great offenses in the state, maybe one of the best in the last 10 years. And they need to prove that here in the second half. They got to take charge early.
And remember, Jeff Hecklinski still has his right ankle taped. And he appears, the way he's walking, it appears that he's favoring that ankle. So on certain types of plays, particularly rollouts, this might come into play tonight, but we'll see how mobile Hecklinski is the rest of the game.
And speaking of injuries, a Hersey player down. That's the reason for the stoppage of action. I'll tell you, the wind has really picked up, and that could be a factor in Palatine's not passing as much, but it is a strong crosswind blowing to the east. That might be one of the reasons why they've kept Hecklinski under wraps a little bit.
That is Ernie Costello, who comes off under his own power, so he probably just had the wind knocked out of him.
He ran off pretty well. I think he was faster than he normally runs. The best speed I've seen from an injured player coming off the field.
All right, first down and 10 from the 25. Again, a strong west to east wind here right now. And Hecklinski over the middle. That's Josh Heffernan. Josh Heffernan, he swung it out in the flat.
Looks like possibly, I thought we were going to get a look at the no-huddle offense, but it looks like Palatine offense is going to get it in gear. Hersey defensive backs really giving a lot of cushion, respecting the arm of Hecklinski, and I think Palatine might go to that short passing game.
Pickup of 7 after that, 2nd down and 3. Williams the lone setback. And Hecklinski again to the air. He did have a man that was intended for Fisher, and that was complete. Todd Fisher, who saw 2 plays at quarterback in the 2nd quarter, and he catches his first pass. So Hecklinski starting to wind up the arm here in the second half, John.
Throwing to some receivers we didn't expect to see get the ball. We thought it would be more Saunders and Whitehead and Patrica. Obviously got a bevy of receivers, and the coverage for Hersey so far has been pretty good. Hecklinski just putting it right on the spot.
Sobel is wide left. They've got Fisher in there. Williams to the outside, and he's pursued. He eludes one tackler, and he goes out of bounds across midfield into Hersey territory. He was being chased by Schuler, and just the speed factor came into play. He just flat out ran Schuler and got out of bounds near midfield.
And that's a great matchup because that's the outstanding junior for Hersey, Mark Schuler, but J.D. Williams showing his speed. Watch the way his legs just keep moving. Straight up the middle run. Again, beautiful blocking up there. He could have gone up the middle, looked like, but he took the outside route. There's Schuler on the chase, and he is as good as they get at linebacker, but Williams able to outrun him in the legs, constantly on the go.
He went out of bounds at the 48, but he picked up a first down. So the Pirates, again, they go to Williams, and I think there's a fumble on the play.
This would be a big one if it's a turnover. The ground cannot cause the fumble, so it might have been too late, and I think that's what the refs are going to call.
He was hit hard by Bob Milizewski, and that is the case. The ball did pop loose, but it will be Palatine ball.
Look at Carlo Areno, number 52. Ooh, nice hit in there. I think that was a good call. He was down before the fumble.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Williams again. Boy, J.D. Williams has been a workhorse. Cliff Ryan making the stop. He'll be about 2.5 yards short of a first down. And
I think a combination of the strong wind and the fact that the Hersey defense might be susceptible to the pass is the reason that Palatine's keeping it on the ground. But Joe Patrica and his explosive Palatine offense, very conservative tonight, although they do have a good drive going here.
3rd and 3 from the 40. Pirates lead at 7-0. We played about 3.5 minutes of the 3rd quarter. A sneak. And Hecklinski, boy, if his ankle's bothering him, it didn't show there as he picks up, I believe, a first down on the sneak.
And that was right behind his outstanding center, number 76, Ryan Kretschmar, who's a 2-year starter. There's a good look at Jeff. Good possibility. The rumor is headed for the University of Illinois, and as you know, the Illini have 2 senior quarterbacks, so the young man quarterbacking for Palatine right now just might be the starting quarterback for the Fighting Illini next year, but clearly a Division I college player.
First down, Hecklinski, and that was incomplete. That was intended for Jeff Wardle, and it went off his shoulder pads and kind of caromed away.
That's about the 7th different receiver that he's thrown to tonight.
Second and 10. Fisher is wide right. Todd Fisher. Hecklinski, a screen, incomplete. That was intended for Josh Heffernan, who caught a pass earlier, a timing play.
It's a miscommunication there, and they continue not to let Hecklinski really throw the ball downfield. We haven't seen a pass for more than 10 yards all night. I know the wind is strong, but so is the arm of Jeff Hecklinski. Very conservative game plan for the Pirates.
Well, they can cheat a little bit, though, the way the wind is blowing. If you're going to throw to the strength, he's going to be throwing right to left. If he throws it the other way, he'll be throwing into a very strong wind. 6 of 11, 66-yard. 3rd and 10. Drop play. Williams with running room. First down inside the 20. Finally wrestled down by John Hersey. He's got a first down, and the Pirates keep the ball.
Penalty on the play. It looked like he might have been brought down by a face mask, which will add even more to a big play. And you can see the Pirates fired up that time. A beautifully executed draw play. J.D. Williams up the middle. You get a look at draw play at its best right here.
Boy, Heklinski, too, it's such a great job of disguising the play. He looks like he's dropping straight back to throw, and if you're in secondary coverage, you have to respect that, and that is what makes their running game so much more effective.
See the average of 425 yards, and it doesn't hurt either when you got an explosive back like